1-800-Flowers.com knows that a gift is never just a gift. A gift is an expression of everything you feel and helps to build more meaningful relationships. 1-800-Flowers takes the pressure off by helping you navigate life's important moments by making it simple to find the perfect gift. From flowers and cookies to cake and chocolate, 1-800-Flowers helps guide you in finding the right gift to say how you feel. To learn more, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello and welcome to this. It is the second attempt at the EggChasers Rugby Podcast. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to sign on to Patreon. I am JB, here with Tim.
Hello, JB.
And also with Phil.
Hello, JB.
On the podcast, doesn't take itself or the game too seriously. So, this is actually our... Well, would you say it's our third attempt at recording a podcast?
It's the third...
Podcast.
It's the third podcast we've recorded. It was the second attempt at doing this EggChasers podcast.
It is.
Our weekly episode. We're there 52 weeks of the year. Into our 12th season now. Officially episode number 2 of season 12. And this is our second crack at it because, well, we just opened a can of worms by asking Phil the question, how was your weekend? And half an hour later, we have got a blow-by-blow, in-depth analysis of everything you could possibly imagine from Oktoberfest in Munich.
No one's got any other tangents they want to talk about before we crack on with this podcast.
I am desperate to get into some rugby now.
So, what we have done is put that, and it's brilliant, I have to say. There's some very entertaining discussions. Borders on edgy at times. If you support the podcast, really appreciate that. You can do so by hitting subscribe. You can email us, contact@eggchasers@gmail.com. If you want to help keep the lights on and just show your support in that way, you can just do so at patreon.com/eggchasers. But in order to show you our appreciation of that, we've got extra content for you there, including this week, 2 extra episodes.
On Patreon.
2 episodes on Patreon.
But most importantly, we're not going to rip you off. All the rugby will be here.
Exactly.
All the rugby's here.
Exactly that. And there was lots of it as well.
There really was lots of this.
Yeah.
Loads this week, including the culmination, a rather predictable culmination of this year's Rugby Championship and the URC and the Top 14 and the Premiership.
And, of course, action from local leagues.
Local leagues, although let's not talk about national wonkers, said they've slipped to their 3rd straight defeat.
Have they really?
Yeah, after hammering Isha, who Isha are looking a bit ropey based on their scores. Have now lost 3 times.
Well, I'm going to put a bit of a downer on the conversation. I'm going to start with this. Very sad news to speak about the passing of one of the Rosendale players, Liam Canning.
Yeah, God, I saw that.
So thoughts with Rosendale, his friends, friends, and his family. Would you have played against him at some point?
I don't think so. I didn't recognise him, but I know a lot of players who've played for and against Rosendale. I've played against them numerous times, but I certainly know people who know him. So yeah. Very, very sad loss.
Yeah, indeed. Tok H clocked up their 3rd win of the year.
Fantastic.
So 4 games, 3 wins, 1 narrow loss against Liverpool St Helens. And we're still not playing particularly well, but we'll get there.
That's good. And live scrimmaging, all of your live scrimmaging paying dividends?
Yeah, now it's the line out which we've got problems with.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like fingers in the dike kind of thing. Like every time you plug a hole, something else happens.
Yeah.
So the scrum looks decent, but now it's all about the line out.
Line out.
And then it'll be all about the ruck. Like Steve Borthwick said, defence, set piece, ruck, everything else doesn't matter.
One of the games of the weekend was Broughton Park 38, Old Winians 37.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a win for Broughton Park.
And I'm just looking down the list, and 1, 2, 3, at least 3 lads from Manmet University.
Really?
all in the pack.
Why would they want to spend their time there?
Why not?
Well,
it's one of the things. Hey,
the opportunity
I have to say this. I have to say,
Top H.
in terms of Broughton Park, this is a genius bit of a genius ploy. With every membership to Manchester Metropolitan University Rugby Club, you get free membership of Broughton Park.
Oh, do you really?
Smart move.
Whatever.
Smart move. And it paid dividends. Got them the point win at the weekend.
That is a smart move.
Yeah. But yeah, loads of rugby. Can we start with the Rugby Championship?
If you wish. I mean, I've not seen a stitch of it, so go for it.
I've seen the highlights of both games, but I didn't watch either of them live because I was otherwise engaged in Oktoberfest.
And I've been purely focused on the only thing that really matters, which is the Premiership.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to temper how much hyperbole you throw at South Africa for this performance against Argentina, because it is very Argentinian to be brilliant one week and then not very good the next.
And compound not playing very well with 2 yellow cards and a red card.
Correct.
As well.
Correct. However, the combination of the absolute brutality of the Springbok pack is with the speed in their backline.
Yes.
Is speed kills and brute force kills, and they've got both. Mm-hmm. And it's such a lovely combination. Isn't it? It's why that team at the minute is why rugby is such an amazing sport.
And please do not move away from brutality up front. That's what makes the backs fast. Like, the backs are not fast without the brutality.
It's absolutely.
And we'll offload it. No, you won't. You'll behave yourself and you'll play hard rugby.
And I know you love Peter Steph-Totoy. The guy is a warrior. He's a god.
Simply
he's a god
put,
king.
Might be the best rugby player of all time. He's up there. I mean, people say Dupont, but Dupont can't do the things that Peter Steph can. And also, it's maybe you can't say the best player of all time because players are all so vastly different, but he has to be one of them.
He'll be a contender in the professional era, maybe ever. Eben Smith, by the way, is now the most capped Bok, 128 caps.
Incredible.
Which is amazing, and he'll make it to the next World Cup. Will probably be the most capped player of all time, which in his position and the way he plays is something. But
he's not slowing down either.
No.
He might be getting better.
Yes. The one that I want to mention, in addition to all of those players, and Cheslin Colby, ankle-breaking sidesteps, the guy is a freak.
Oh, I did see this, actually. Maybe I was drunk when I watched it. Yeah, his sidestepping was incredible.
He's just freakish. Apalele Fassi, oh my God, he looks a baller.
He's such good, and the lines that he cuts outside that 13 channel, did it last week, did it this week, he's rapid as well.
He is rapid.
Oh yes, I saw the Matera red card. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
The one that I want to mention, in addition to all of that amazing stuff, is who I want to push forward. If he has a decent November, Oxenche should be World Player of the Year. No prop has ever won World Player of the Year.
That's ridiculous.
Has any props been nominated?
That's a great question.
I'll do some digging in the background.
Yeah, do some digging. Because there used to be way more nominees than there are now. There's now 3. There used to be 6 or 7 back in the day.
It's a massive World Rugby psyop, isn't it, to depower the scrums?
One hooker has won World Player. One hooker has won World Player of the Year. Name that hooker.
Stephen
Keith
Moore.
Wood.
Keith Wood, correct.
Oh. Yeah, so I knew Keith Wood.
The very first year it happened.
Was that the first year? I knew he
year.
won it early doors, which I didn't say no front rowers won it.
Yeah, and think without looking at Phil's list or like this, you would expect just. We know there's flankers. Pete Steph-Totoy's won it. Richie McCaw's won it a few times. There's always 10s.
Yeah, Dusatoir's won it.
Dusatoir's won it, yeah. Scout Berger's won it. So there's loads of flankers. You always get 10s. You always get scrum halves. Wingers?
Jonah Lomu must have won it at some point.
No,
because it came in after him.
It's post Lomu.
Oh, right.
2001 was the first year.
Okay, there you go.
Brian O'Driscoll's won it, so he's a centre. Has he won it?
Maybe
Joe he must have won it.
Brian O'Driscoll would definitely have
He'll
won
definitely
it.
have won it.
Joe Rockakoko?
Oh, Josh van der Vleer is another flanker, by the way. I think Rocker. I don't think he's won. Maybe he has. I'm not so sure though.
Maybe
has a chance.
So probably not won it, but certainly nominated in 2003 and maybe
Fijians?
2007 would be Jason Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah.
He would have been nominated at least a couple of times.
Shane Williams?
Shane Williams has won it, I think.
Has he?
Oh, he's definitely been nominated. He may have won it. He may have won it, actually, which would be a winger.
I'm flicking down the list. Shane Williams won it in 2008. There was a winger who won it in 2007. The year South Africa won the World Cup.
Mark Cueto. Habana.
Yeah. So two wings.
Okay. So just two wingers.
Well, that is. So there are two wings.
Banner and Williams.
Yeah.
Johnny Sexton has won it, so that's one fly half. Dan Carter's won it. Johnny Wilkinson's won it, so that's three fly halves.
There should absolutely always be a prop.
There's one other scrum. I know this one. There's one other scrum half that's won it, apart from Antoine Dupont.
So I know it. So I knew this anyway.
Yeah.
And it's on the screen in front of me now.
Justin Marshall.
No. There is a connection to
Byron.
No. There's a connection to. He was one of the earliest, and I think he might have been second or third.
He was second.
Second. He was the one that got it the year after Keith Wood, and there's a connection between him and Dupont.
Gaultier.
Correct.
That's what he was going to go for originally.
So let's see if there have been any props. References on the entire Wikipedia page for prop 0.
That's ridiculous.
And it lists.
Wow.
It lists.
That needs to change.
It lists every position.
Disgusting.
So it lists Keith Wood, hooker, George Gregan, scrum half, George Smith, flanker. So it would be on there.
Come on.
So there's not a single 23 years.
Doesn't it just show you
This needs to change.
the ineptitude of the people that run the sport?
So
The most important position on the field.
So let's go through the positions. So hooker, number of references to hooker. There are. Anyone want to guess?
3?
There are 7, including in the wins by position. So there's 6 hookers nominated. That looks like
6 hookers nominated. So let's have a think about
Stephen
that.
Moore.
So we'll go from the start. So you got Keith Wood. Well, actually, no, it's 5
Dane. What's his name?
Dane Coles.
Dane Coles.
Yeah.
Has to be
So
in there.
no. So after
Cody
Keith
Taylor?
Wood, 2003, there was someone nominated.
Oh, okay.
Steve Thompson.
Steve Thompson.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Wow.
So the 2003 list is quite heavy on the England team.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, it's not even. There's only 2 England players nominated in 2003.
Martin Johnson, Steve Thompson.
No, Wilkinson and Steve Thompson.
But not the World
Not
Cup
the
winning captain. No,
Not the captain.
that wasn't a guy that deemed worthy. No.
Okay, other hookers.
Dane Coles is correct
Dane
in
Coles.
2016.
Okay.
Someone else super dynamic. Oh,
Interesting.
Ibanez.
So one of these you'll get. So not Ibanez. One was nominated.
Marks Montoya.
Marks in 2018. The other one.
Not Montoya, the one before him.
The other one. There is not a hope in hell you will get this player.
Oh, that's a challenge. Gauntlet laid
no
down.
way. I will tell you the year you will not get
Go
this
on, then.
player. The year is 2019.
What?
You will not get this player. It's not Malcolm Marks.
Hold steady, Tim Cocker.
2019.
2019.
World Cup year. Winners were South Africa.
Correct.
It's not going to be Jamie George, obviously. He was on the losing team. Malcolm Marks and Bongi and Benambi were there in the winning side.
2019, right?
Is it like an Italian?
No,
I'm not going to tell you what country it's from.
Nicotera.
I'm not going to tell you. You can guess lots of players.
Lucchese.
Not Nicotera. No.
No. Go for the Japanese hooker.
No, it's no.
Why? Didn't they win 2? No, hold on. 2019, they didn't. Did they win 2? Were we in Japan?
We were in Japan. They got to the quarterfinals.
Yeah. They won. The guy with the dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah.
You're thinking of Shota Hori.
Yes.
No.
Oh. Thought it was on solid ground there. Morty Schwagler for Tonga.
You're as likely to guess him as this chap.
Oh, wow.
So, is it something like... Was it like because Spain had made it, maybe a Spanish hooker, or...
Spain didn't make
No,
it.
they didn't, but they qualified and then they got kicked out. Again.
Oh. Do we let him put us out of our misery? Come on, then.
Go on, then.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. He's played for 2 clubs in the Premiership.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold on a minute. He's the guy that was at Wasps. He's an Italian guy. What's that Italian guy? He had the beard. He had the beard. He sometimes wore a scrum cap, sometimes didn't. He played at Wasps.
It begins with an F, doesn't it? I think. I know exactly. He played for Toulouse as well.
But he said he played for 2 teams in the Premiership.
He did. So he's played for other teams as well, but he's played for 2 teams in the Premiership.
I'm really struggling. 2 teams in the Premiership. What nation? Are you allowed to say that?
You'll get it if I tell you the nation.
Go on, then.
Okay. The nation is USA.
Oh, played at Worcester and he's played at Worcester. And I can't remember his name. Don't know. Can't remember his name. Is it Saracens or someone? Or?
Played at Worcester and Leicester. Alongside the San Diego Breakers, Leon, 2 years at Leon, the LA Guiltinis, and currently at the Houston Sabercats. He has 37 appearances for the United States, and his name is Joe Taufete.
Yeah, that's the boy.
Oh, wow.
He was nominated
No, there's never in a million years we're getting that one.
There was never.
World Player of the Year nominee. How many names? How many names in that?
So alongside the other names on this list, I bet you could get them in the next few minutes. So that was the year that Peter Steptoe won it. There was an England player who got in 2019.
Marrow?
Not Marrow, although he had
Faz?
been nominated separately. Not Faz. It was like his breakthrough year.
Underhill? Curry? Tom Curry?
Dan Lancaster.
Tom Curry, yeah. There was a Kiwi back row.
Ardy.
There was another South African who we spoke about before. Winger.
Malcolm Marks. Cheslin Colby.
Cheslin, and Wales captain at the time. Alan Wynne.
Right, so hold on. Joe Taufete has been nominated for World Player of the Year.
Yes.
But Oxenche, Franz Malherbe, Stephen Kitsoff even.
When you just read those names.
None.
Haven't had a look in.
None.
World Rugby. This is the year, right? I did a video on the EggChasers YouTube channel earlier today where I mentioned this. I'm throwing my weight behind Oxenche. It has to happen.
It's a great shout. And
I'm so with you on this.
To book the trend as well. Yeah. Absolutely.
To send the right message about rugby.
And also, when you name the great props, they're not just good players, they're absolute colossuses of the game. They are some of the most important cogs.
Yeah.
If you get some of the few, if you're the absolute best in the business, like a DuPont, yeah, you can win a game on your own. Props do it, I don't want to say regularly, but they're so incredibly important now.
And the rugby,
it shows no one understands what they're looking at.
The rugby, it's just kind of a football thing. You can imagine, actually, if you look at Ballon d'Ors and Team of the Years, and all, it always goes to the attacking player, the most important cog holding midfielder, never going to win awards.
No.
Just doesn't happen. It's always the number 10.
Yeah.
And rugby needs to buck that trend because rugby's different and the scrum is so important. And the rugby, more importantly, the rugby he is playing in this year is out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
So I'm just looking on the list of all-time nominations, and there's only one Type 5 player who's been nominated 3 times or more.
Alan Wynne.
Eben.
No and no.
What?
Eben has been 2. Alan Wynne has been 2.
Matfield.
Marks.
No. Botha.
No.
Retallick.
No.
Oh, yeah. Surely Retallick.
No.
Wow.
It's another Type 5.
Not
Marrow.
Really?
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Marrow's been nominated 3 times. The only Type 5 forward.
When was the last time Marrow got nominated, though? Because I reckon his best years might have been
this
16, 17, 18, something like that.
Well, or this year.
He's been good this year.
2021 was the last time.
Okay.
Nominated.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then it was 16 and 17, yes. In those Champions Cup winning years when England had the 19 game unbeaten streak as well.
So let's talk about props just a second, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to link this to a game. Who saw Bristol Gloucester?
Yes.
Oh,
what a match.
Mainline that into my veins.
Loved it.
I love Gloucester, as you well know. Just a great club. And their fans deserve something. Now, I think last week I might have said something along the lines of, they don't look great, but you can do quite a lot with 2 halfbacks who are experienced, particularly if they stay fit. And that's kind of what happened.
That's one of the things.
Well,
and a scrum and a lot of turnovers.
A decent scrum, I would say. Bristol, in their endeavours to get to the edge, are fantastic. And by the way, Max Malins is playing great rugby,
isn't he?
He looks awesome again. Not again, but he looks great. But Christian Wade.
Do you know, I was thinking about Christian Wade. It wasn't a great game for him, but it was because he scored a hat-trick. And what I mean by that is he just seems to be in the right... It's a cliche, isn't it?
3 times in the right place at the right time.
These were not great tries, but they were great tries because no one else gets
them. There was
them.
one brilliant bit of analysis Austin Healey did on what looked the simplest of his tries, where he just gets given a 2-on-1 and runs it in from the 22, the first try. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And actually, what Austin Healey points out is, look at the intelligence of what Christian Wade is doing, tracking the ball. And exactly as you just talked about, it's not an... you can't accidentally be in the right place at the right time.
All the time.
Yes. and he was 3 times.
He is, isn't he?
And that interception try was... That was the difference, because
that was a great defensive read.
It was a 5-on-1 overlap.
Yeah, I was so certain that this was a bad signing. I was absolutely convinced. He's passed it. It's Johnny May Mark II. He'll be there to get a few fans in. It's an Indian summer, every other cliche that you can think of, and 3 tries.
What I liked about what he said after the game was, he saw it as his job to come in and freshen the atmosphere in the team up. So he's tried to come in and just change the mood, freshen the atmosphere, because they had a bad year last year, and it seems like on the pitch and off the pitch, he's been a great signing.
Well, I mean, Thomas Williams and Gareth Anscombe, if they stay fit, they will be tremendous. I mean, it's a huge if. It is a huge if. Seb Atkinson looks class. I tell you what, Max Llewellyn on the wing, I was watching him, I was thinking, this guy's having a great game. He reminded me, Max Llewellyn, of when I first realised that Chris Harris was pretty good. Because Scotland threw Chris Harris on the wing, and he was dynamite. And they just seem to all mesh and work very, very well. But my favourite part of this game, Bonan, maybe my favourite part of the weekend, was Ellis Genge's cry face again. His cry face was on full display for everyone to see.
You mean when Fasogbon did him?
Fasogbon battered him, and I loved it. And could you hear him on the mic?
Well, immediately before Fasogbon won a penalty against him in a very key moment in the match, Genge was, you could hear him on the ref mic going, "Come on, let's scrum. I want to scrum. I want to scrum. And then the ref blows against him, and his cry face comes on. You what? Like his passive aggressive cry face. I hate it. All right, fair play to him on the full time whistle. Genge went straight up to Fasogbon. The cameras did catch that, and just obviously had a little chat in his ear and patted him on the back.
Yeah,
so, fair play.
Charlie Morgan made a couple of good points on Twitter on exactly that point. Very wholesome to see Genge having a bit of banter, but also congratulating.
Yeah, you shit talk when you're on the pitch, don't you?
I tell you what, I think he was rattled from this. I actually thought this in the game. I've got it on my notes as I was watching it. Genge is rattled. And the reason I thought that is they collapsed they couldn't scrimmage. As in, when I say they couldn't scrimmage, they collapsed 4 scrums. The first scrum was there, and I think, did Bristol win one, or was it someone turned in, and then there's a penalty, and you pick up Genge a few times saying, "Let's scrum, I want to scrum, come on ref, I want to scrum." No, he doesn't. He really does not want to scrimmage. He was coming in all sorts of angles. At one point, Fasogbon had to stand up because he was playing with his positioning. He was really rattled. This Fasogbon boy, I mean, he's got some way to go. No two ways about it, but being absolutely massive does help.
It's one of those things. It's very hard to teach someone to be 6'4" and 132 kg.
Is that how big he is?
Age 20.
He's oh my word!
Age 20.
So he's listed at 6'2", but he's definitely bigger than 6'2".
Again, London Irishes for Sogbon.
Yes,
It pains me every time all these amazing young players from Wasps and London Irish.
He's a little bit. He looks a little bit long to be a prop for me, but at 130 kilograms, you can be a bit long.
Well, Tamaiti Williams and Tosi for New Zealand are both 6'4", 6'5", and 150 kegs.
He's got very long. He's got quite a long. From what I remember, he seems to have quite a long body.
He is only 20. He's
going to get bigger. He's going to get bigger.
Yes.
Get more excited. Straight in the England team. Tim? Get the kids in.
130 kegs, there's not many of them.
No, there's not, is there?
Give him time. No, let him play a season in the Prem, full season starting. Let's take it easy. But if he carries on, yes.
In the past, I can't remember if Borthwick has done this, but Eddie Jones used to have the starred was it academy players? Apprentice players.
Yeah.
Yes,
nonsense. I agree with Tim on this one. Like, you're either in or you're out. The apprentice thing.
Well, I don't mind it getting people in just to see what the target, like to to show them where they need to be. Like I don't have a problem with that.
Get them in, don't name it. Just get them in.
Just get them in.
That's what we want to do. Just get them in.
Which actually, Borthwick did that, but he didn't. There was no official announcement on Ben Redshaw, who scored this weekend for Newcastle last summer when he was leaving or just left Sedbergh.
Do you know why I don't like it? Because what happens, and I've seen it happen in real life, is that England call someone up and they call him an apprentice player. And you've got your salary cap, it's very finely balanced. And then the apprentice player comes back when it's contract negotiation time. Because actually, I'm on the. Not only am I nearly in the England team, as was said to bloody. What's his name? Guy who plays.
Langdon?
No, guy who plays for Scotland now.
Oh.
Ewan Ashman.
Ewan Ashman. You're a 50 cap hooker. Well, you're not a 50 cap hooker, are you? Because you don't have 50 caps at hooker. But he comes back into. I mean, I'm not saying he said this to Sale. But the fact the England coaches should not be...
His agent's doing what any agent should do.
Yeah, but England coaches should not be saying you're a 50 cap hooker unless I've picked you 50 times.
Yeah.
They just shouldn't do it.
Well, it's demonstrably incorrect. So
yeah.
He's going to have a hard time negotiating a 50 cap.
But,
well, on the flip side, if someone's willing to pay Ewan Ashman the money that a 50 cap hooker would get, then hard luck Sale Sharks. You've lost him because someone else is willing to pay him.
Yeah, but there's also games going on, wasn't there? Because could they get him English qualified because he's Scottish? So there's also the apprentice player. I mean, some of the apprentice players that have been picked up are very suspicious.
Why are you worried about players getting paid what the market will pay them?
No, I'm not. It's like this market distortion when they were messing around with players.
More for the clubs if they overpay on a player.
No,
that's not on England.
No. What I would say is it can distort the players' image of themselves, particularly if they're doing it for.
But the market's only going to pay them what the market.
It's not what the market
values them at.
Well, it's more about It's more about ruining the player in terms of their expectation of what they're worth. I mean, has anyone seen Sam Moore since he went to England? Like he came back, definitely an England player. No, you're not. Off you go to Cardiff, never to be seen ever again. You know? So I didn't like it for that reason. You bring them in when they're ready, leave them at their clubs.
I would say a player that is going to be elite will not, and again, there could be a number of reasons why Sam Moore's career has taken the turn it's had, but I reckon
not very good.
No, I reckon Tom Curry, you understand the mentality of that man. You've been around. You speak to people at Sale. There's nothing that could have changed that trajectory of where he was going because money, what people say about him was irrelevant.
Well,
next to the ambition that he had for himself.
And then his bank account is halved.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So no, you do make a good point. The best ones will always, and because the best ones will always come to the top, why bother with the apprentice players?
Agreed.
Well, it's a good way to work out which ones are going to be the best ones and which ones are not.
No, work it out by watching the Premiership, and if you want to pick them, pick them.
Yeah,
that's it.
Eddie Jones, though, credit where it's due, did have a remarkable ability to pick particularly young playmaking backs from a young age and identify them as superstars.
Stuart Lancaster did brilliantly in his. If we look at the squad he overhauled after the 2015 World Cup, went on to get to a World Cup final.
This is true. Yeah, I guess it's true. There you go.
And you say that I would say there's lots and lots of... Look at all the players that have been in the England squad. There's been tons of them. For every Marcus Smith, there's a Will Joseph.
Yeah,
there's loads of players that have been around England squads with a star next to their name or not who aren't at that level yet.
Do you know, do you think we treat England coaches a little bit like ex-Labour leaders who die? So every time a Labour leader dies, like, he was a magnificent man, he did this, this and this. As soon as we fire an England coach, it's like, well, he did put in the foundations for the future. and no, he was terrible. He was really, really bad.
Stuart Lancaster's Racing 92 lost again.
No!
Tight match, at home 16-17
Maybe
to La Rochelle.
Maybe change the markers that they're writing on their shirts with.
Well, do you know what? I think he's going to come under some... Oh, no, I'm just looking. He didn't pick his son at inside centre. One of the issues has been they've been losing and Dan Lancaster has been in between Owen Farrell and Gail Fickou.
Nice.
But Farrell wasn't kicking again, so presumably he's got... Le Garrec scored all of their points, didn't he?
Yeah.
He scored a try and kick sticks.
I mean, they narrowly lost to a very good La Rochelle team.
They did.
And they narrowly lost last week as well. Didn't they?
No, they got
hammered.
They got hammered
by Bordeaux.
And the week before, they narrowly lost.
Oh, yes. But your beloved Bordeaux are beating Toulouse.
In Toulouse.
With only a couple of minutes left. Oh, my God.
Interesting.
Away. I'm just having a look at the lineups for that one. They've got... Yeah, you see, they've got the second choice players in. They've got Capuozzo, Ramos and Kinghorn in their back three.
Oh, goodness me.
Roman Ntamak at 10. Peter Aki at 12. They've only got Grau at 9.
Aldegherian, Marchand, Flamont and Miafu.
Oh, my goodness.
You can't play rugby with that sort of team. You just can't do it.
Well, no, but here's the thing.
Geelonge coming off the bench.
So think about that.
I love Geelonge.
Think about that top 14 final when Toulouse handed it to Bordeaux.
Yes.
What Bordeaux had already started doing with their signings, they recognised their weakness and they just got lads in that would smash rucks. And Johnny Gray will prove a brilliant signing for Bordeaux.
I don't think he will. I mean, I'm sure he'll do fine for Bordeaux. It seems to be a lot of lads will do fine for Bordeaux.
His engine's massive.
I'm sure it's great.
And he just hits rucks.
I'm sure it's great, but the problem was not really not smashing rucks. The problem was their fly half and their number 10 were behind two of the best in the generation, particularly the 9. I mean, I felt so sorry for Luku. He's never going to be able to catch Dupont. It's just way of the world. Johnny Gray, I mean, he can hit all the rucks he wants.
Oh, Jalabert v Ntamak, though, would have been worth watching that match.
Yeah. That's much closer than Dupont and Luku. The problem is that Dupont is feeding the ball to Ntamak and Luku is feeding the ball to Jalabert. And Luku, probably for the last 3 or 4 seasons, has been the second best 9 in France. He might not be there anymore because of others coming through. But
great player,
yeah.
but he's always going to be second to
Le Garrec and Couillou and others.
Yeah.
Who are so talented, those two. So anyway.
Indeed.
Other Premiership games.
Right, so let's just not miss out what a great win this was for Gloucester.
Yeah.
I think, isn't not their only second win at Bristol in something like 10 years or something ridiculous?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I just need to... sorry, it's 81 minutes, and I know Phil will want to know this. 81 minutes, Toulouse are on Bordeaux's line.
Oh, God.
Let's just enjoy the last play of this match.
2 minutes after the 80, okay.
And this is in Toulouse as well, isn't it?
In Toulouse.
Come on, boys.
Are we breaking some copyright law here? Do we have the rights for
as long
this?
as we talk over the top of it, I think it's fair use.
Yeah.
Is it?
And plus, we're not stopping them. No one's listening to us live, are they?
That is a great point, actually.
I'd love to... those stadiums in France are wild. Pen. Ooh. See, refs always get nervous about giving penalties at this stage of the game, don't they?
Yeah, rightly so.
Are they going to go for it? No, they're going to keep it narrow. You would keep it narrow. What would you do? Talk about coaching and stuff, JB. You would just want your players to pick and go here, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Not watch.
I wouldn't watch this.
Got to keep it narrow. Because
Yeah,
4
pick and go.
points, you can't go for the drop goal. You can't force a penalty. Well, you can.
Oh,
turnover!
Your beloved Bordeaux turnover.
Johnny Gray! No.
I think it was Johnny Gray. Oh, I do like those cameras they get on the pitch close up. Those kind of with the
Blurred background.
Blurred backgrounds, nice.
Yeah.
No, I hope they've not played their final.
Artistic focus.
5 weeks in.
That's big. That.
Nah. 2 years gone.
2 years unbeaten. Wow. Yes.
Phil's beloved Bordeaux. There we go. That's probably a result of the weekend.
Great work, boys.
Love it.
Nice. Sorry, you were saying.
Great win
Great
for Gloucester.
result for Gloucester.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I think Bristol are going to be annoyingly good this year.
I really like watching them.
I think they will as well.
Sadly.
They're so good.
I think they'll sharpen up some of the turnovers out wide, which they did towards the second half of last season as well. And they have got, like, in this game as well, I rewatched this, or watched it back yesterday, when 1 minute 10 on the clock, Ep2 cuts through so easily, you just think, oh, this is going to be another tough day for Gloucester. So for them to come back from that and to win in the way that they did, fair play. And
actually to take their chances. So I think one of the reasons they were so hard to beat was because Bristol went down to 13 men. And Gloucester did exactly what you should do, which is score as many points as you possibly can and hold on for dear life.
Well, and then the last 10 minutes, it was flipped the other way around because Wade went into the bin. Gloucester had 8 minutes, level on the points, level 41 all, with one man fewer, and managed to get that final penalty.
Yeah, I would have backed AJ McGinty to have nailed that conversion. Not that it would have mattered, they lost a pen anyway.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. It was a tough one out wide, though, wasn't it?
Oh, I can't remember now. But, yeah, I can't remember. Seb Atkinson. It has... Right, you want to get the kids in? You want an inside centre? That guy played really well. He's a big, big old unit, and he's a handful.
Speaking of people who played well, moving on to a different game, today's game.
Go on.
Wilbut.
Yeah, he did.
A couple of nice breaks, although a couple of poor pass offload options. But you've got to be making the breaks to get into that position.
Powerful.
And I like Ollie Lawrence at 13. That's where he played. That's where he played his rugby when he was younger.
Well, this is where Bath play him, no matter what, really. Yeah. I mean, when Redpath comes back in,
Redpath or
Ajomo.
Yeah.
Ajomo will be 12.
Yeah.
He needs to move on.
Well, does Redpath need to move on?
Maybe they all do.
Yeah.
Free up some salary cap for...
How did Guy Pepper look?
Really good. Really good. He did look good. So it was a scrappy game. Both teams put too much ball down. But Pepper looked good. George Martin, it's an obvious statement. George Martin hits like an absolute train. There was one, so Barbary early on went for a HIA and came back fine. But what's his name? Kurt Sear came off the bench and he had one interaction where he did a kick return straight into George Martin and got absolutely leveled.
George Martin's one of those players, you know, if England can just keep him around and fit, because he does get injured a fair. It's not surprising.
There's a long list of these guys. Look at Tom Curry now. Look at Underhill. Look at Barbary. Look at Ted Hill. Look at Chesham. Look at Martin.
Yeah. I mean,
all of those guys.
I think my dream back row in terms of England and hitting things, you know, there's just one metric, there's just one job today is hit things, would be Martin at 6, Underhill at 7, Curry at 8.
Oh.
Just nailing people. I mean, England would be so horrible to play against. They'd be dangerous to play against. Like
dangerous for themselves.
Yeah.
The problem, you're going to have a 6-2 split on the bench, because you're going to lose at least one of those in the 80 minutes every time.
You're not wrong. They are just, they're animals. They're absolute animals. And George Martin, like, he is a legit world-class operator because he's got stopping power. He's a big man and he can stop other big men.
Yeah.
Almost dead, literally, on the game line, which is a rare skill.
His performance against South Africa in the World Cup semi-final.
That's exactly it, isn't it?
It was a sensational performance. He, in my opinion, should have been man of the match had England won. You can't do it because they lost, but he was sensational.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Pepper. Pepper was very nice. Pepper played. He hit hard as well. Played really nicely. He got over. Yeah, just got over for his try. Took that well. So yeah, I've got a lot of time for Guy Pepper.
The guy I'm really enjoying at the moment is Parisi. I love this guy.
100% strike rate on yellow cards.
Oh,
2 games, 2 yellow cards.
Taking names.
The record, it always used to be David Pace, didn't it? And then I think Danny Kerr in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, Danny Kerr's up there.
Broken it because of deliberate knock-ons. Almost every time, deliberate knock-on or killing the ball.
I like the fact he just gets them out of the way early in a match as well.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like first half yellows.
Yeah. So 2 games, he's going for an 18 game. If they make the knockouts, he could get 20 yellow cards this season.
He's an aggressive boy, though.
He is.
Like, I just like him. I just like how... It's what I like. It's what I like. However, here's an interesting thing, which I did not know, and I haven't brought this up to shame anyone or anything... or any such thing, but I've just looked him up on Ultimate Rugby app, and I've read his profile.
Yes.
Right? Do you know where this is going?
I am aware of a historic charge.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the charge is. It just says, in addition to his rugby career, Parise briefly returned to rugby league, joining the Brisbane Broncos, blah, blah, blah. Despite some off-field challenges and legal issues, Parise had shown great potential and skill as a powerful ball carrier. That's rather than... what kind of charges are these? I can imagine what they might be.
In March 2020, Parise pleaded guilty to supplying a dangerous drug but had a probation order for drug charges removed by a court to allow him to travel overseas.
Oh, wow.
So he pleaded guilty.
I wonder what the dangerous drug was.
Don't know. Wouldn't like to speculate on record like this.
Oh, well.
But
at least it's behind him.
Yeah.
At least I was just praying it
5 years
wasn't
ago
something horrendous like, beat up some school children or something like
modern slavery charges.
Yeah. It's literally just supplying dangerous drugs. That's fine. I can live with that. I can still enjoy him smashing people up.
He played for my beloved Bayonne for about a month.
Did he?
I seem to remember around that time.
Around the time of the charge, the guilty plea.
Yeah, I don't know if the two were connected.
He did five games in 2020, and it was in March 2020 he pleaded guilty. So
you obviously have to go back to Australia after that.
Well, yeah, and then he had a period back for the Waratahs.
And he's got some Australia Cups.
Yeah.
How many cups has he got? Because I was wondering if he might be EQP.
He played a game in the Rugby World Cup, but I don't know about anything else.
Well, I like him. I'm a massive, massive fan. And long may his reign of yellow cards continue, and long may be hitting things hard.
Yeah.
6 caps for Australia, 1 start, which was in the Rugby World Cup, in which he got a yellow card.
Did he? Really?
Yes.
Good lad.
His strike rate for yellow cards is phenomenal.
5 games for Bayonne, 2 yellow cards.
No, stop it.
I'm not joking. 2 games for Leicester, 2 yellow cards. 19 games for the Reds, just the 1 yellow card.
Oh, so...
No yellows for the Waratahs.
There's obviously a recent thing.
But he did get a red.
What?
Yeah, I like his aggression. So, yeah, one to watch. Parise to light up the Premiership.
Yes.
And also the sidelines.
But this was a good win for Bath. So it was a scrappy game with the notable exceptions of some clever thinking by Van Portfleet to exploit DuPont's law. And I found that was interesting. I don't know if either of you have seen that.
No, tell me about it.
So
so what is happening with that now? Has it just gone...
It's DuPont's law. What they've changed is, instead of the... so DuPont's law was, you kick the ball deep. If you're in an offside position, you don't have to retreat. You don't have to actively retreat.
You can stand still.
And you can wait.
Yes.
And you can be put onside either by one of your players playing onside, or a pass, or
moving forward.
Yeah, 5 metres.
5 metres.
The ball carrier moves the ball 5 metre forward. So DuPont was basically staying still in a sneaky position that would be offside. Offside. Well, it's not offside, but he's played onside when one of those things happen.
Yeah.
But importantly, you could be played onside without the person who kicked the ball playing, or someone behind the person who kicked the ball playing you onside. So that has now been taken away. You have to be played onside by the person who kicked the ball, or someone behind the person who kicked the ball playing you onside.
And you have to retreat.
And you have to be retreating.
You can just retreat very slowly.
You can retreat slowly, but if a player is sprinting, retreating slowly is not really an option.
Yeah.
So you have to retreat fast in that case. In this game, it was quite remarkable because it seemed like 14 of Bath's players realised that they weren't allowed to tackle Van Portfleet. So Van Portfleet realised he could sprint forward, which he did. 14 of Bath's players realised...
Because it was kicked by someone deep who had no one else behind him.
Yes.
Right.
And he was not running forward quickly enough. The kicker of the ball was Finn Russell. 14 of Bath's players realised that they were in offside until Finn Russell plays them on. Finn Russell didn't seem to realise until very late, until Van Portfleet had made 30 or 40 yards, and it was only then did he sprint forward. And 2 phases later...
So there is no limit to that on being played onside?
Unless you catch up with Finn Russell. Like, unless he's the one who...
No, because there wouldn't be a breakdown, would there?
Yeah,
so it's like, you can't... you can... If you tap and go from a free kick, you can't sort of drop goal it.
Here's a hypothetical which will happen. Someone will snap their hamstring when kicking a ball.
That could happen.
In which case, so if that happens, someone on their own line
okay, yes,
kicks the ball,
yes.
Everyone else would have to go back to their own try line before they could make a tackle.
Or one person would have to go back, and then... So one person would have to realise and go back and
shuttle to play everyone else onside.
Yes. I mean, it might happen. It might.
At some point, it will happen,
The
and I will replay this moment.
The ref in that could, I think, blow because of an injury on the pitch affecting play.
Not a head injury. It would be affecting play, though, would it?
Well, it is affecting play because 14 players can't make a tackle.
Yeah, but that player chose to kick it when he had everyone else in front of him.
So what if it's a charge down, right? And they sort of follow through, and then both players tumble to the ground, and I just pin the kicker. Rugby league style. I'm trying to get up, but it's a little bit awkward. You're pushing me, I'm pushing you.
Oh, yeah. No, you make a good point.
Or maybe
that could be
a double charge down. I'm pinning my friend who's then pinning him, and it's all a bit scuffly.
But if there is a try in that situation, then an illegal act is occurring that's prevented the try.
Or just even like being a player that's upfield near the kicker, making yourself difficult to run around.
Do you know
it gets a very small advantage.
Do you know who's playing around with this idea more than anyone else?
Probably DuPont.
I was going to say Warren Gatland. This has got a Warren Gatland written, or you're going to see Welsh boys lying on kickers and all sorts now. This is so down the street.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it until there. I haven't noticed it changing because now the law is what I always just kind of thought the law was until DuPont found out that it wasn't.
Yeah. So that is what's happening. This was an interesting highlight that Finn Russell didn't aggressively enough chase his kick, or didn't really chase it. He was just having along.
Do that again.
And Van Portfleet realised it really fast. But it was equally interesting to see that not only did Van Portfleet realise it, 14 Bath players realised it because they refused to make a tackle because they would have given a penalty away. But in doing so, conceded 30 or 40 yards. And it was only when Finn Russell had finally played everyone on side that they could make a tackle. But by that point, the damage was done. And 2 phases later, Van Portfleet got his just desserts, and he went under the posts. It was a very interesting situation. There will be times, or there may be times where someone pulls a hamstring or someone does something untoward. But I think the moral of the story is, if you kick, you have either got to know someone behind you is actively chasing, or you have to actively chase Finn Russell.
Yeah.
You can't just be lazy.
Second week in a row I'm going to mention this guy. I think Nicky Smith is going to be absolutely quality. And just on Nicky Smith, Will Stewart is disappointing, isn't he? I thought Will Stewart was going to be the future of everything.
Because he's 130 kg plus.
And he was a good scrummager. Like at Wasps, he was dynamite. Like you got a 21-year-old kid absolutely battering people. He's now, 28?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still think he's a kid, and he's not. And he's just not kicked on to the level. Is he, an average Premiership prop, would you say?
He's probably third choice for England.
Yeah,
That's
okay. I just wanted him to be better, and he's not. Yeah. He's not at all.
I do agree with that. But sadly, there's a long list of English props that you could say. Paul Hill, Henry Thomas, Aaron Painter, Harry Williams. All tight head props specifically, because we've got some good loose head props over the years. Kieran Brooks, another great shout.
Joe Hayes, we're waiting for him to come good.
Joe Hayes, still not
quite there yet.
We've got Fasogbon now. It's all good.
Fasogbon, yes, all good in the hood.
All of this podcast's eggs are literally in the Fasogbon basket.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Nicky Smith is one of those guys who knows how to scrimmage. That's the easiest way to describe what he's not massive. He's this weird shape little fella. He's bloody good though. He's really good. He had Aaron Painter in bits last week and just went around dismantling Will Stewart for the most part. Really, really smart signing.
How is Lazowski? It's Italy qualified now.
Yes.
Is he?
Has he actually played for Italy?
No.
He's a damn good player.
What makes you say that? Would it be the 45 points that they put on sale?
He absolutely gave Sale a beatdown. 13-12 up at half-time, Sale were.
I know.
And then 33 points in the second half.
I think I said in the preview, didn't I? Sale probably won't have enough because it's a Sanderson show and nothing else. And who knows Sanderson really well? Saracens.
Yes.
On the other hand, I mean...
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
If there's one thing that my family and friends know me for, it's being an amazing gift giver. I owe it all to Celebrations Passport from 1-800-Flowers.com, my one-stop shopping site that has amazing gifts for every occasion. With Celebrations Passport, I get free shipping on thousands of amazing gifts. And the more gifts I give, the more perks and rewards I earn. To learn more and take your gift giving to the next level, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
We need to start talking about if Saracens can't. Well, hang on. We don't need to start talking about anything yet because it's 2 games in.
Yep.
But if these early signs continue with Saracens, they've just said to the England captain, their golden boy, see you later. Go and lose for Stewart. Got some second choice guy in from Crusaders, and are now beating.
Not even really second choice.
Yeah.
Maybe third choice.
And just crisis. What crisis? They are just such an operation, aren't they? They're such an operation.
As well as getting rid of Farrell, getting rid of the Vunipolas.
Yeah.
Like, it just...
Time to go, boys.
I don't know.
Probably a year. They probably held on a year or maybe two too long.
Yeah. But we're a special family.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
I mean, the old boys actually did all right. It was Good and Elliot Daly who combined for a nice little rubbery kind of
Good playing 20 minutes off the bench. Elliot Daly playing well.
Saracens need more people need to speak about Saracens, and we'll just see how it goes. But just think about what this club has been through. Yes, they weren't exactly always legal when it came to spending their money.
They definitely were not legal for at least 3 seasons.
Yeah, and people whinge about it, and what have you. But ever since coming back from the Championship, they've just been remarkable. The whole thing is absolutely remarkable. Did they win a title in their first attempt back?
No, they lost to Leicester. So they
got to a final. The first attempt back, they get to a final. Then they win it.
Yep.
Beat Sale.
Yeah, beat Sale. Yeah.
And last year they went out in the semis, is it?
Yeah, to Bath or Northampton.
And now they've lost the rest of a few more of these lads. If they get, just top 4 would be amazing, I thought. I didn't think they'd be...
Last year, they got to top 4 without really having a scrum.
Yeah.
With a scrum that was kind of non-operational 60% of the time.
And they still managed to get Saracens.
Get the top 4.
You got all these nonsense books, haven't you, which come out with the All Blacks, and some people who've worked for Fiji Sevens and do seminars in front of banks, and all this absolute dross management nonsense continuously. What goes on at Saracens? Because I think that's where you can actually learn something legitimate. In fact, not only that. Do you know what I always say? Club coaching is the hardest thing in rugby. Premiership coaching is the hardest thing in rugby. And once you get to the international ranks, you're basically a bit lazy. Like, you're just dining out then on your past reputation, which is why I'm so impressed that Michael Chaka has come back into club rugby. He doesn't need to expose his reputation to Leicester Tigers in the Premiership because it's bloody hard. Yeah. Saracens have got a bloke in there on their staff who's taken a level... is it level 7
I'm just going to challenge you on that.
Go for it.
Where else does Michael Chaka go?
He doesn't need to go anywhere. He's a multi-millionaire.
If he wants to be a rugby coach, I don't think there was anywhere else for Michael Chaka to go in international rugby.
If he doesn't... This would be my point. If he wants his reputation as an international coach to be untarnished, not untarnished because it's sort of mixed record, he didn't need to go to Leicester Tigers.
Well,
it's a bloody hard job.
He's a damn good coach. I recognise that. I can see.
He doesn't need to work. He's doing this because he loves rugby.
No, I know, and he wants to be a rugby coach. But I'm just challenging. I'm just suggesting that maybe his stock isn't what it was. As an international rugby coach, I don't think he covered himself with glory.
These guys, don't they? I mean, I don't think he's going to get a job with New Zealand anytime soon.
Yeah, quite exactly.
If the Scotland job came up, I think he'd be someone who's sort of.
If the Scotland job came up, that's my point.
Wales is probably more likely.
Yeah, the Wales job
is more likely to come up than Scotland
for that. I mean,
soon.
Because they just recycle the the same people over and over.
Yeah, he might have to sit tight for a couple of years, I guess, is my only point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But he's taken on...
I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah. I mean, look what happened to Gatland when he walked away from Wales and went to...
The Chiefs.
It didn't...
And did nothing.
And in rugby terms, in English rugby terms, it would be like taking over Manchester United. They're not as good as they have been, but it's the biggest club in the land.
Probably could have been the All Blacks coach if that Chiefs job had worked out differently.
That was the proving ground, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it went terribly, and now he's back at Wales because they love to recycle the same names over and over again.
Yeah.
So,
what did you make of that story, by the way? Actually, there was a lot was made of it. I can't remember what paper it was in.
Sorry, just before we continue that, Saracens have got a guy on their staff who you told me about, Tim, who'd got a level 7 club promoted like 3 consecutive years.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's really bloody hard.
Yeah.
Right? And that's who they went to get because they're an awesome organisation that understands talent and hard work.
Yeah.
And what it takes to win
the coaches
games.
that go off and do great things. The S&C for the box right now is the old S&C guy from Saracens, Paul Gustard, Steve Borthwick.
To be fair, Sanderson.
Yeah.
Give him his dues.
And the list goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The majority of that is Mark McCall, who's built the foundation.
Yeah.
With other people as well.
And nobody really knows what that man thinks, to be honest.
Well, he's so quiet, isn't he? So introverted.
We know bits.
Superb.
It's all very sort of... I don't think many of the journalists have written...
Well, sorry.
Sorry, that was me.
That's right. Here's one insight, or just one of a number of insights that I could give about Mark McCall. But one thing I know to be true, just from my time working as a reporter and sort of getting to see a little bit more of that behind-the-scenes stuff, home games, when Saracens win, they do the tiki-tonga and stuff as a team, but they also have a whole thing where all of the kids, all of the wives, all go in the dressing room as well. It's like family is massive, and that comes through, doesn't it? When a player leaves, they keep that. Saracens, they keep that bit of South African farmland. They keep that very much part of their identity in a way that probably more so than many other clubs.
I totally agree with that.
Yes,
totally agree. And actually, a lot of them end up coming back. Like Rhys Carey wanted to come back. There's a couple of others.
Benell.
Sorry,
Benell.
Nick Tompkins.
Yeah, Tompkins, great shot.
So I'd like to hear more because we know quite a lot, for instance, about Rob Baxter, don't we? There's not really much of a mystery behind Rob Baxter. He does basically everything himself. The guy's a genius. He interviews the players. We know about that. We know about his coding of games. We know how he thinks about mauls. He's been I've managed to interview him. We know a lot about Rob Baxter, and he's remarkable. We hardly know anything about Mark McCall, really.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
That's how he likes it.
7
of the 10 Premiership clubs are running at a massive deficit. I saw this story this week. There's been a lot made of it. Only 3 solvent clubs. My thought when I saw that was like, God, there's 3 solvent clubs.
Massive improvement.
That's nearly a third of the league is sustainable.
You're right to think that. Lennon Curtis did it, didn't they? The insolvency practitioners. That's right. It's always been like that. I don't know what to tell you. It's always like that. Weirdly, I think Super League is like majority profitable. Can you believe that? At least half the clubs in Super League make money.
It doesn't actually surprise me that much because I know what they pay for players is significantly lower.
Yep.
And they're generally kind of from relatively poor areas, relatively like working class backgrounds, the people.
I tell you what I've done. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but it is patron fodder. In the same way, House of Lancaster, my trusty book here, is patron fodder, as is Smelling of Roses, which is, I hate to admit it, remarkably well written by Stuart, what's his name?
Stuart Barnes.
There. When I heard, do you remember I told you the story about Danny Minogue?
Yes.
Oh, wow, on the Patreon pod.
Yeah.
Amazing Danny Minogue story.
And I also told you the story about the doping in St. Helens.
The fireman.
Yeah.
All of this is on Patreon, by the way.
I bought the Sean Long book.
Oh, I wanted to read that, and I never got round to it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it isn't Chaucer, right? But it's just a mix of like, I was drinking. And those rugby league days, listening to, who did I listen to? Jason Robinson. Right, Jason Robinson did James Haskell's podcast, which I went to watch live.
Teetotal and very devout Christian.
Yes. That's a relatively recent development in his life, should we say. That happened because he met...
That's the yin to the yang.
Yeah. That's because he met Inga Twiggamala. The years prior to that are of great interest to me. Great interest.
Well, like Sonny Bill Williams, for example.
Is that right?
Devout Muslim, doesn't drink at all. Now... There are some stories of Sonny Bill when he was coming through as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old into the NRL.
Can you imagine
one of the most talented players in the world in such an aggressive environment. There's plenty of stories if you go out to find them about Sonny Bill.
How could there not be?
He'd have made Todd, whatever his name, Todd Carney, bubbling, look like child's play.
Imagine being... an early doors...
Do not Google Todd Carney bubbling. Do not Google that.
Imagine being an early doors Sonny Bill Williams. What is he, 6'4", handsome, and
what a rig.
Unbelievable shape. Yeah. Does things with the rugby ball which are basically magic, as witchcraft.
Yeah.
Like, if he was around at the turn of the century, he probably would have been drowned as a witch. The guy is... what's more remarkable is there's not even more stories. There's not 6 times the stories.
And what's remarkable is... that New Zealand team was so good, he was on the bench.
Yeah. Well, he just decided to swap codes as and when he fancied it.
Yeah. And to boxing.
I'm coming back to the All Blacks now. He treated the All Blacks like one of our best players treats Talk H, just decides when he wants to play. Yeah, I might come down this week, boys. Might just run a session. No contact, then I'll play on the weekend, yeah?
No
problem. No problem at all.
What a boy.
Yeah.
I can't remember how I got onto that.
Why are we talking about Sonny Bill?
Because I mentioned there was 7 insolvent clubs.
So there's 3 solvent clubs, and Sonny Bill Williams is incredibly handsome and tall. That's what we take. You
got onto Sean Long's autobiography.
Okay.
I can't remember why we got onto the autobiographies, House of Lancaster. But anyway, this
Saracens smash sale.
Anyway,
what do we think of the story? The story is the same as always.
Yeah, that story.
Because Super League clubs are solvent. That's right.
Now, I did. That's what I was going to say. I listened to the Economics episode that you did with Mark Evans. Looking forward to the next one, which will be in the feed. Make sure you hit subscribe. Go and have a listen to the last one. No, JB. But Mark Evans is absolutely spot on. French rugby is so well managed. No club is allowed to be insolvent. At the end of a season, you have to clear your debts. Otherwise, you get relegated 2 divisions.
But I think...
Which happened to Bezier, was it?
It's happened to someone, right? But I think you have to be careful here about what we're describing. So when they say clear the debts, it doesn't mean be profitable.
No.
It just means that the owner has to fork out there and then.
Well, you don't have a situation like Wasps and London Irish where loads of people's businesses and maybe marriages and families get ruined.
You don't have guys taking over clubs who can't afford it. Yeah. And playing around with all sorts of financial chicanery, and then at the end of the day, by the way, like Wasps with their 17 million bond, which they could never pay back.
Yeah, at the end of every season, someone's there going, let's have a look, open your books and sort that out, otherwise you get relegated 2 divisions.
Yeah.
No, don't care who you are.
I think the thing that Mark and I have not discussed on that, and I think is a really important point, is I don't think you can get a financial regulator in as things currently stand, because you can't annoy the current ownership class, because they're the only ones left in town. There's a reason why 3 clubs went under and no one bought them. It's because of the CVC deal. Well,
can I just sort of dovetail it? I'll listen to hear what Mark Evans has to say about that on a future episode, but I'd be interested to know, and in fact Mark may have mentioned previously, I'm just racking my brains, about the suggestion and part of this new PGP professional game partnership thing with the RFU and Premiership Rugby and the clubs and blah, 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 is that they are paving the way for Wasps, London Irish, Worcester to get brought straight back in at Tier 2. So? Yeah, no, they are.
Tier 2, yeah.
They are. Straight back in at Tier 2, which is... But that bringing them into Tier 2 is a direct way to get them up at a time of their choosing into the Premiership again.
Why would they... I mean, I would just question why you'd want to do that. I think 10 teams in the Premiership is perfect.
It's not enough. No, it's not perfect because the clubs are not solvent.
Yeah, but they never were.
No, fair. But the match day revenue, all that's happened, they're having the same number of games every season.
Yep.
But they're now having friendlies instead of league matches.
It's all right.
Yes. throughout the Six Nations when they've now, we've got all these weekends for the players to rest.
But you know, I've got some sympathy for that. So Northampton...
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but that just means that to make the stadiums profitable, you need to have matches.
Or to make them not...
Yeah, but I think we just need to be careful sort of deciphering what's going on here. So they're not... I don't think they're direct replacement for competitive matches. I don't think we need any more high-level competitive rugby. But Northampton over the autumns, for instance, do organise matches. And it's just these kind of cheap and cheerful exhibition matches. It'll be the Barbarians against, I don't know, whoever it is. And I really like that because it paves the way, doesn't it, for really interesting teams, which I used to love. Like the English Championship team. That's a great team. That should definitely come back. It won't be quite as strong as it used to be. Or the combined services against a World 15. You know, they're not games that I'm going to watch.
Okay, well,
they're all sort of games that you can get a load of kids in to watch. And that sort of thing.
Linking it to Premiership, but other competitions as well. I would suggest that the Premiership is not. It's fantastic when the rugby's on, as we saw this weekend again, but it is not an engaging competition because it takes 9 months to do 18 games. The
gaps are a problem.
They're a massive problem.
So as soon as you stop buying into the narrative, it just stops. And even someone who loves the Premiership as much as me, you forget where you were.
Yeah.
And these teams come back and they're completely different animals, aren't they, potentially?
Yep.
Like they've lost their cohesion, or they're playing a different way, or they've lost some players, or players have come back in. Yeah, I agree with you. It has to be...
Narratives and stories. Phil's suggestion, which he's always had, which is you have blocks of the season, your league season, European season, international season. That makes sense. And at some point, one or more turkeys will vote for Christmas, realise that's the way that everyone's going to move forward. Nothing's perfect. There is no silver bullet, but that is the best way to do it. The problem I have with the Premiership at the minute is, we're really enjoying this block of games. Autumn internationals kick off, and we won't see the Premiership for a month.
No, we forget about it.
All the narratives, all the players, all the matchups, all the rivalries just gets mothballed, and then we have to get excited about that again and fire it up.
But then you'll have 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, and then you're into Europe.
Yes.
You know what gets me about rugby? I think this is spectacular. And the fact they haven't negotiated this somehow. I mean, this is one of the things they could negotiate. It does need to be negotiated. It's a small thing, but it's very valuable, and we could do it relatively cheaply. You watch BT Sport?
TNT now.
Whoever they are, right? And,
who do have the Autumn Internationals this year. That does make a difference.
Yes, this is where I'm going, right? And you're watching TNT, and then all of a sudden Nick Mullen will say, and by the way, tonight the boxing's on. And maybe Babe say, oh, that's a great matchup, or whatever it is. They'll promote, I know the boxing is on, watching the rugby. Right? Rugby should go out of its way to make sure that the URC and the Premiership are advertised during the Autumn Internationals and on the BBC. Because these things exist on their own. So if you're watching the BBC, there should be some sort of negotiation that rugby makes. Like, you have to tell.
We'll advertise that you show the Six Nations, but you advertise that we show Champions Cup.
There has to be an arrangement
TNT
there.
don't show the Champions Cup. That's Premier Sport now, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what anyway, negotiation has to be. On the internationals, it has to say the Premiership is on afterwards. They should also have to do little things like...
That is a zero-sum game, though. Particularly if you're... Like, BBC should, because they do not... It doesn't matter if people choose to go and watch something else rather than them, because they already tax us to...
Yes, they do.
It's already a tax and we have no choice, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, whereas, again... Just thinking about this, when I was doing my breakfast show in Manchester, and someone went, "There you go. There's a bit of paper. You got to read that out, and go and point them to another station." That means they might, that might directly affect me and my job. No, I'm not doing it.
That is different. To this,
different
though, because so I have had
BBC. I agree.
I've had Discovery Plus for whatever it is now, 2 years, or a year and a bit. The only thing that I've watched that's not rugby on there. They had a tiny bit of cricket, but it wasn't concurrent with any rugby. And they had the Olympics, which again was not concurrent with any rugby. So if they pointed me to say, go to Premier Sports or go to the Six Nations, they've never lost someone who would be watched. In my case, I would never have been on their channel.
Yeah, fair.
So it isn't. There will be a few small instances where it could be zero sum. Yeah. I think overwhelmingly it should be.
It would be collaborative.
Imagine you're Amazon going, right, I'm going to buy whatever it is. Yeah, okay, it's X price up. You also need to say the Premiership's on.
Well,
you don't need to say what channel it's on. Just say the Premiership's
on.
on.
A similar thing to it's a tough decision, and I understand why they do it. But World Rugby shutting down any content creators using any World Cup footage because people have paid for those rights, instead of thinking, well, it might get people that weren't even aware the Rugby World Cup was on to watch it, which will make you more money.
Yeah. Well,
they need to package the rights differently.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think the World Rugby YouTube channel is one of their biggest earners.
I've no doubt.
It's massive. So that's why they do it, because it just makes them so much money.
Yeah.
But then you would say, wouldn't you, well, if you've got all of this library and all you need is a content creator to make it even better, hello, come get me. Come get whoever it is to do you a package of highlights, if that's what people want. That's what they should do.
I get a similar number of views a month as Rugby Pass.
Do you? Awesome.
On YouTube.
Strength to strength. So, yeah.
Well, no, that's more the point that what you're saying is, because presumably Rugby Pass have got access to all archive content.
Oh, yeah, of course, because they are
owned by World Rugby
now.
So my point there isn't, I'm doing great. My point there is they could easily do way more.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they could. And last thing on internationals and Premiership is not only should they cross-promote, they need to do a better job on international comms of talking about the players' club form, because it's like these players exist in a vacuum. You hardly ever hear such and such of Bath, such and such of Leicester. I remember back in the day they always used to talk about that.
English should have Premiership club badges on them.
That's brilliant.
That's a good idea.
That is brilliant.
I do love that extra little detail that the Premiership have for the international team. Yeah, you should do it both ways.
And also, when we're in this
badges or crests.
Or what? No, maybe not even badges or crests. Maybe like on the left hand cuff of the sleeve is just
the colour.
Is just the club
like
colours.
Like three
colours, like black, white, and black, blue, and white for Bath, and
that's lovely.
Red, green, white for Leicester.
I love it. I absolutely love that, because
that's very cool.
If you want
a really good idea,
a peace offering between club and country.
Yeah, right.
What if we just
professional game partnership? Let's have a partnership there. Come on.
Yeah, and what does that mean? It means he plays for Gloucester,
and it means that player's got that shirt is even more one of a kind,
isn't it? This is such a great idea. Such a great idea. And also, it's like, it is the essence of Englishness, because they've already ring-fenced the Premiership. Those clubs have to come from the players have to come from the Premiership now. It's just it is a showcase of English rugby. Why are they not showcasing English rugby? Get that done. That can be done tomorrow.
Idea. Yeah, that is a great idea.
And then, oh God, it even makes the clubs have hoop shirts. And you know what? Now they've got the combined shirt sponsorship. If that goes through, the combined kit maker, they can have hoop weekend. What would you do for Harlequins? Just have the quarters? Are they
You'd have 4.
They get special dispensation.
Yeah, I'd do 4, like in a little square. So round the bicep would be 2 colours, and round the tricep side would be 2 other colours.
I like it. That's great. It's great.
Just to make your point on the staccato nature of the season this year, Tim. So we go through all the way through to round 6 sequentially. End of October, that kicks off on the 25th of October. There is then no Premiership games until the 29th of November, so a 1-month break. And that is 1 round with 4 weeks before it and 2 weeks after it. So that means that in 7 weeks there is 1 Premiership game.
Oh, that's not good enough.
Until then you're back to the Christmas, and then you do have the pre-Christmas, middle of Christmas, and post-Christmas on the 3rd, 4th, 5th of January.
At least there is always rugby on TNT Sport in that time. So just from a viewer, you tune in and watch rugby, but you're not following the Premiership. That's weird.
So TNT have not got the Champions Cup this year? Or is
no, not got Champions Cup. Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah, so you've got 2 weeks without it.
Oh, yeah.
They have got the Autumn Internationals. So you do have 5... Well, you have 11 consecutive weeks with it.
Yeah.
But then you need Premier Sports.
Then a couple of weeks without, then 1 week of Premiership, then a couple of weeks without.
No, you're back then. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, you are.
Yeah, so you have 1 week in 5. That's weird.
Yeah.
No idea.
Not really excited for that 1 week in 5.
So fine for rugby fans. They've got stuff to watch every week on various platforms if you happen to have all of the platforms. But in terms of just following the story of the Premiership, rubbish.
Terrible for following the Premiership. 1 week in 7 of Premiership games, and there'll be plenty of players who just don't play. They'll be playing for one of the local clubs, so they're not playing in the Champions Cup, and they won't be playing international. So it'll be like a mini pre-season for.
And again, when I hear that schedule with internationals, Champions Cup, 1 round of Premiership, and the Premiership. One of the good things about the Premiership is it's giving a chance for all these young players and stuff. It's another reason why, and we don't need to go down this rabbit hole again, but it's another reason why the academy system needs to be blown up.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's just not doing the best thing for English rugby. There's loads of great clubs that these players could be playing at.
Yeah, and they're not.
And they're not playing. They're being hot-housed in academies where they play no rugby.
Yeah, and then they leave.
And then they leave. Or don't play rugby again. The number of players that come out of academies, as we've talked about before, and don't play rugby again. Staggering.
Yeah. So, let's talk about Harlequins Newcastle.
Yes.
But the reason I want to talk about the Harlequins Newcastle is something I mentioned on Patreon. So I'll tell you now, Phil. They've got 2 new coaches. They've got Alan Dickens and somebody else. Is it Dickens? Alan Dickens, maybe? Yeah, well, they've got 2 new coaches. Both of them are scrum halves.
Okay.
The thing they mentioned on comms is, it's only a part-time role at Newcastle, and also he's got a part-time role at one of the local schools. Now, I have no problem with this practically, of course. Cost to cost, and it's wise to split them. Now, on our Patreon podcast, we spoke at length about the Broughton Park 17s team, and one of the things which Tim is very proud of, rightly so, is it's mostly state school lads, isn't it? Basically,
inner city Manchester lads.
Yeah, yeah. Now, do you think? I think it's profoundly unhealthy that so many academy coaches have part-time jobs with large private schools. Now, I understand that they both benefit. Like, the school gets the kudos of the rugby club. The rugby club gets access to this little laboratory of young men who are not forced to play rugby, but they play rugby in a certain way, and it's a very high level. But it can't be good, can it, to get state school kids in or get them recognised? If it's a 50-50 call, how on earth do you get ahead of the guy who's been coached by the academy coach?
Yeah. But unless you've got... So, agree with that point, but unless you have got lots more coaches, paid for coaches, it is it's difficult. You can only put the resources that you can afford somewhere, and that's where they're chosen to be put. So,
Bristol obviously have got Borthwick, who's linked to Filton College. We've got this guy up in Newcastle.
Borthwick, yeah, Grewcock.
Sorry.
Different former England second row.
That's the one from Bath and Saracens.
Yes.
Then there is, there's quite a few of them. I'm sure Sale Sharks is one linked to...
Sedbergh?
No, Sedbergh's Sedbergh's Newcastle, isn't it?
They
might
do have
be
it
in the middle.
DPP coach.
Yeah, Higgy.
Yeah.
Broughton Park DOR.
Yeah.
Broughton Park DOR is also connected with Sale Sharks, and
Sedbergh. I mean, I'm a very, very, very straight down the middle man. I'm not saying there's any corruption here, but by the way, I'm just saying that.
Well, yeah, difficult. I guess it's the Cumbria is part of the Newcastle Academy system, isn't it?
Yes.
And Sedbergh kind of sits on the
the
border of it takes boys from Cumbria and Lancashire, doesn't it?
Like Barnard Castle would supply into Newcastle.
Yes, yeah.
That kind of thing. So yeah, I just think it's something which we should look at. So this week, the RFU have sent out. Have you seen the questionnaire thing?
I've seen a couple of snapshots that have come through.
Have you seen this?
I've not seen anything else.
No.
Let me try and find you the thing, the latest genius thing from the RFU. Okay, so it is. You must have seen it, Tim. It is it's like a questionnaire about when's the last time you experienced a microaggression in a rugby club, something like that. I'll find it shortly. The point that I'm making is, they're making a lot of effort, aren't they, to try and be inclusive and get lads into the game and girls into the game, of course. But really, if they wanted to make it super inclusive, they'd make some laws about part-time jobs in private schools, or be just a little bit more open about what the selection process is to get into an academy if you're from a state school. If they really cared, they wouldn't be doing this performative nonsense with surveys on microaggressions, because one of them is completely ineffective and one of them might have some real-world effects. But of course, they don't want to do that because one of them's really hard.
especially when you got rid of all of your development or a huge proportion of your development coaches just a few years ago.
Exactly right.
Well, this probably feeds into a larger conversation of, as we have said many times,
community, rugby, inclusion and diversity. If you finished school after 1980, were you eligible for free school meals at any point during your school years? Yes, no, not applicable, don't know, prefer not to say. If you finished school after 1980, maybe it's like, did a kid who was coached by one of the part-time teachers in the local private school take your space in the academy? That would be a more pertinent question. Would it not? Would it not?
Yeah, it could be a little subjective.
Yeah, hard to get an honest answer.
I am one of those. I am one of those. Well, I've only told the anecdotal thing of I went to the southwest of England final trial and had an absolute stormer, and so many people came up to me and said, "Oh, mate, you're an absolute shoo-in," and didn't get picked. And I was the only state school.
You got
lad.
Ewan Ashmond.
I got Ewan Ashmond. I was the only state school kid in the team.
Yeah. I wonder what happened there.
Well, the thing is, so I got offered a scholarship at Pangbourne College, which at the time, I don't know if they're still a very good rugby team. We were a very good rugby school, and I didn't want to go because I wanted to stay with my mates.
And you in touch with any of them now? Because if you're not, what a waste of time.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yes.
Which tells me you would have been in touch with them anyway. So what a waste of time.
No, we don't need to go too deep into this, do we? I get the gist.
Yeah, community, rugby, inclusion, diversity. Thinking about last year, would you say you personally experienced a microaggression in, I don't know, often, sometimes, rarely, never, prefer not to say, don't know. I microaggress all my players, all of the... No, I macro...
Yours are not micro.
Yeah, I macroaggress. You're a bunch of losers, work harder. Like, what do you want me to say? God.
The question, you could argue the question could be, do you look for offence everywhere you can possibly find it?
If it's yes, right, this is what I would do. I'd put out that exact questionnaire, and if you put yes, it would automatically delete you from the RFU database. Bingo.
Well, so I would say that probably feeds into a bigger conversation we've had many times, which is that rugby, rather than looking after the audience it has, tries to seek a mythical audience it imagines that is there.
Exactly right.
And I wonder if that same criticism could be levelled at the decision of ITV to create a new type of highlights show.
I've heard about this. I've not seen it because
which features lots of digital online TikTok creators instead of David Flatman and Topsy Ojo.
Yeah, because everyone wants to see them and not David Flatman and Topsy Ojo, of course.
I mean, I can leave people to make up their own mind about that, but I mean,
it's cheap to make, isn't it? I guess that'd be the thing.
I guess so. I don't think that's why they're doing it.
Well, I don't think they know why they're doing it.
Well, no, they made an argument that basically it's that the world is different now, and people don't.
The world is different. Okay.
Everyone's seen all the games by the time they listen to it. Well, by the time the highlight show came out, my response to that would be,
put it on earlier.
Don't put your highlight show out on a Wednesday. Keep Topsy and Flats or whoever it may be. Do something more like Match of the Day, but maybe do it on a Sunday evening, not a Wednesday at midnight.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just back to this questionnaire. Imagine the amount of people that self-select if they pressed yes. Imagine the amount of women's teams that would be minus a creepy coach if this is all linked, if this is all like linked together. Oh, microaggression, yes please, gone, bye.
Someone mentioned Harlequins before.
Yeah, I mean, the pod's getting long. We don't need to talk in depth about every game.
No, but just to say, I love watching Lee Halfpenny in the Premiership.
That is cool. I actually want
Cassius Cleves wheels to set him up.
Well, let's just talk about
rocket shoes.
Cassius Cleves. I've kind of. It was 2 years or 3 years since we had FRD. I was hoping he would break out earlier because of FRD a couple of seasons ago.
I miss fancy rugby drafts so much.
That's where they should invest some money there.
Yes.
Just on Harlequins. I know you don't want to talk about Harlequins, but I do want to.
No, I didn't say I don't want to talk about Harlequins. I'm going. We're not obliged to go into depth on every match.
We've got 5 games. I like watching Newcastle play. Their opening try was very slick. Very slick.
And their final try was nice as well.
They just don't have anything extra, do they? They are
second try.
They're sort of like a competent rugby team with no X factor at all, no difference makers at all. Like, there's nothing they can do well because they don't have the players to do it. And the thing which stood out against Harlequins is how many difference makers Harlequins have. Now, whether they're going to be good enough to do damage to top teams, I don't know. But they got rid of Esterhazen. He was a big ball carrier. And instead they've spread the ball carrying load across a handful of absolute animals. So you had Cunningham South.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. Like, he is a good carrier. Who's a centre?
And Yanwu.
And Yanwu, who can absolutely smash things.
Yeah.
That hooker, whose name I cannot pronounce.
Chibulu.
Another one who looks like he's got a ton of talent. And, they've just got big... That was the difference. Like, these phenomenal athletes that just can smash people day in, day out. Newcastle don't have that. They have nothing of... Well, that's it.
Yeah. They've got a few good players.
Blamire is good.
Blamire's a good player. Callum Chick's a good player. Ben Stevenson. Radwan's a great player. Ben Redshaw.
Here's one on this. Vincent Ware has emailed, contact eggchasers@gmail.com. Said he just wanted to give a shout out to Luke Pearce for bringing some sanity back to rugby officiating. 71 minutes into the Quins match, Stephen Levis smokes Newcastle's winger in the head. Okay. Even as a Quins fan, I watched the replay and instinctively thought, he's gone. Enter Luke Pearce. The best sir in the game steps in and does right by Newcastle by taking another look at the play and does right by the game of rugby and concluding, effectively, let the boys play. I genuinely feel many other refs would have red-carded Levis first and asked questions later, but Pearce correctly concluded that the winger was dipping and Levis was genuinely trying to make a tackle. And I was pleased that he didn't split the baby and issue a yellow card. You cannot legislate contact out of a contact sport, and I feel Pearce set a good precedent for other refs to follow. Vince in Arizona.
Thank you, Vince.
Well, there were a few cards. I thought the Obituimbo card.
Obituimbo, yes.
He should be redded.
So
I cannot see how else. I mean, as the law stands.
I kind of with you on that. So Luke Pearce found a way because Halfpenny stepped, but the step to me seems so minor.
Yeah.
It looked like an always illegal tackle that ended up with
even more illegal
force to the head. But I actually don't hate it that much because I guess it's a precedent that Faz, or was set with Faz in the Wales game. Who did he smash in the head in the Wales game?
Who didn't he smash in the head in the Wales game?
But this was actually a World Rugby work.
This was the ridiculous
where it got
farce
rescinded
before the World Cup.
It was get rescinded, but then World Rugby wanted to charge him.
No, Twitter blew up after the World Rugby, the Six Nations or whatever it was, or whatever.
Yeah.
Disciplinary process concluded. Twitter kicked off, and so World Rugby got involved.
Yeah, but basically, justice was not done, and Owen Farrell missed the first game.
Yeah. But that's fine, because George Ford hit loads of awesome drop goals. So
in a tremendous win against Argentina.
Got an email here from Matt Cotton as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Times writer.
Friend of the pod.
Times writer, Matt Cotton, Times Sport, friend of the pod. And he says, contact eggchasers@gmail.com. You can always email us. To the Premier Grassroots podcast, respect from a Grassroots Premiership guide writer. Hope you're all well. Now that the season is underway, I thought it would be worth looking at who you think some Lions bolters would be for next summer. This is something we can just have bubbling along in the background, because it is a relevant conversation to be regularly having. He says, although Australia are so bad that present-day Miles Benjamin could probably come in and do a job. Oi, no one rucked harder than that man.
Pack that in.
He says, I can't look past Emmanuel Faye-Waboso from getting a call to at least be in the squad. Agreed. I think he'll probably win Breakthrough Player of the Year, World Rugby. He's got a very good chance, surely. I can't think of anyone else.
Shout. Yeah.
Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha.
But Faye-Waboso more so than him, I would say.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sasha is a great shout.
So Matt Cotton says maybe even Faye-Waboso to make the test squad. I think he's...
Cunningham South, there's one for you.
Not a bad shout at all.
Nice.
Yeah.
He said, defence as solid as peak Tio, talking about Faye-Waboso here. Defence as solid as peak Tio, running as sharp as JB's razor, and the ability to seemingly teleport across the park as if he's Louis Cocker going from Beatdown Boulevard to the kitchen table.
Yeah, we need to find out. Have you got to the bottom of that yet, Tim?
I've not got to the bottom of that.
Something very suspicious.
Wormhole.
Yeah. Again, he was doing... I don't know what it is about Sunday evenings. Maybe I've just...
You're missing a trick here, mate.
Yeah.
I've either done a brilliant job as a parent or a terrible job as a parent, because he was sat again this evening doing maths homework at the kitchen table.
Is it a ledger to count up the contraband that he's been selling?
I don't know. I don't recognise this kid sometimes. Like, no kid of mine. He's doing A-level.
Just ban it.
A-level maths, chemistry and computer science.
Good lad.
Have you seen
And he had a gig on Saturday night. He was in a band playing guitar.
That's fine.
And he was playing rugby today.
That's healthy. If you see him with one of these books, I don't trust it. Just run it underneath the tap.
Anyway, JB's Razor, by the way, Stephen Bevan has emailed and just said, fair play, boys, that had me in stitches. You haven't clarified JB's Razor yet.
Yeah, so JB's Razor, right, is we used to promote people to the point of incompetence, which is what?
That is the Peter Principle.
Peter Principle. It's now we educate people to the point of incompetence. Which I quite like.
So the more educated someone is, the more likely they are to
be totally incompetent. Yeah.
Yes.
Educated to the point of incompetence. It's all like Bill Sweeney. A great example.
I like it. Any more for any more?
We didn't touch on Northampton Exeter, which I've not really seen much of.
Which I've seen the whole thing.
Can you briefly give a few highlights?
I want to go to bed.
Oh, yeah, sure. So
I want to go and dream of what we discussed on the second Patreon pod.
So what are my takeaways from here? I'm trying to make it as brief as
I'd
possible.
say Northampton are slightly better than Exeter.
6 points better.
Yeah, you would definitely.
Is that a good summary of the game?
It's pretty good.
Ollie Woodburn as a centre, how's he getting on?
Very well. Paul Brown Bampo basically had a run-in and he got hunted down by, I think George Furbank got him on just a straightforward run-in.
What is it with these Exeter double-barrelled wingers? Brown Bampo, Faye Waboso.
Well, and double-barrel wingers blowing tries because Ollie Hassel-Collins...
Yeah, drop the ball.
Did you see that? Drop up over the line.
That's what happens when you paint your nails.
With no one around you. Oh.
So, what was there to say about Exeter? Very inconsistent. So, they were doing some own Exeter things. They weren't looking after the ball very well. When it came to breakdown, they got turned over a fair few times.
They should have won last week, but
lots of silly mistakes, really.
They lost 30 points to 24 away at the champions. It doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah, but you have to win a lot in the Premiership now because it's such a small league. Like, everything really matters.
And so 2 teams have not won a game out of 2, Exeter and Newcastle. But Exeter, they're
going to win games.
They're going to win plenty of games. They've got 2 losing bonus points in that. I'm not worried about Exeter.
The depth of their squad is highlighted by the fact Ollie Woodburn's wearing a 13 jersey, though.
But I do think that Exeter are probably a 10 and maybe another good tight 5 forward away from being a top 4 contender.
Everyone's got
for another season or 2.
Everyone's got a weakness. I think looking at the league from this week, God, I mean, it's incredibly close. So it's almost like a match by match analysis of who matches up well with who. I think Sale Sharks have got something to be worried about. I just don't see the quality in that team. Like, they'll say that there is. I think
we were saying the same 2/3 of the way into last season, and then they stormed their way to the playoffs.
They came good.
Yeah, I'm not sure that. I just don't think. I mean, George Ford got injured.
Ford's picked up a knock. I was going to say,
yeah,
there is a big drop in quality.
I would say just look at the points. Just look at the points difference to see that this is not a yes. If it gets to 4, 5, 6 games and Exeter haven't won, or say they've only won one more game, you are in trouble. But Exeter, they've got 2 defeats, but -9. Even the top team, who had a relatively speaking blowout win, a +28. It's not. It's tight.
I just think Exeter are.
Oh no!
I think they're a couple of seasons away from really being back pushing for top 4 again.
Yeah.
I think it could happen this year. I'm not. Everyone's got a weakness.
Well, I'll put it again. Henry Slade is in that team. They win. Win last week and they win today.
Yeah, he will make a difference.
Or yesterday.
So that's a really good point because I think Harvey Skinner is a solid Premiership player. without being exceptional. But you put the boot and the brains of Henry Slade in that team,
they win both games.
Massively helps.
Yeah.
Harlequins look very good.
That's a great point.
They were playing Newcastle. Bears look pretty ferocious, even though they lost.
Too many turnovers.
I mean, but here's the point. Bears lost to a Gloucester side who we didn't think was going to be any good. And if Gloucester can put up 44 points on occasions, then everyone's got a problem.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has got a problem. You've got to win consistently.
Before this podcast is done, can we just touch on URC?
Yes. Apart from my beloved Ulster.
Zebra?
I looked at some of the results and I thought, all right, Ulster have probably sent a B team to Johannesburg. Nope.
No, not massively.
Full strength Ulster team lost in Johannesburg. A full strength Stormers team with Damien Willems back and playing lost at Ospreys.
Now, I looked at the team. Is that a full strength
Stormers?
Apart from
the ones that are available.
Sorry,
yes.
735. Yeah, okay. I haven't
the
seen
Springboks.
Yeah, absolutely. That is. They don't have Sasha. He's not fit.
First name terms with Sasha now, yeah?
Yep. Sasha FM, my favourite radio station. But it's the best team that they could pick. So they came north with a strong squad, is what I'm saying. Sharks came with the best team they could pick, admittedly without a load of Springboks, and they lost at Connacht. And most surprisingly of all, Munster took a fully loaded team to Parma and lost to Zebre.
A remarkable result. Now, I do like looking at the URC teams. In the same way I like looking at some of the Pro D2 teams, or in fact, actually, top 14 teams, just to see random names that I don't know where they've ended up. And like Zeba and Benetton are full of these lads. Let's see, who do I know who played for Zeba? Nobody, literally nobody. Do you know any of these lads?
Who played for Zeba?
Yeah. Scott Gregory, don't know him?
No, but you know all of the Munster players, which is
you do. Yeah,
surprising.
it's a strong team.
Oh, Marisi, the 12.
Fischetti,
he's played international rugby.
Oh, he played for the Nash.
Locatelli's. Is that the same one? No, you're right though. There's not many. Fischetti, yes, but no, there's not
many in that.
And most of the good
Zebre
Zebre players always get signed for Benetton.
Your beloved Benetton.
Indeed. Did they win? Did they play?
They got hammered by Glasgow on Friday.
They got spanked by Glasgow, yeah.
Brilliant. Well done, boys.
With Umaga playing 10 and Louis Liner playing.
There you go. Now, those are the sort of people that
playing, and Manakai Fekitoa playing. So there's a few names.
Jacob Umaga, the future of England once.
Did
he start a game? Have I made that up?
I think he might have been an apprentice player.
I think he started a game.
Jacob Umaga?
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
For England?
England, yeah.
Men's team?
Yeah, 21-22.
No, maybe against like Barbarians or something, but not a cap match.
I think he has. I'm sure he has.
No, he hasn't got an England cap.
You sure?
Yep.
I think you're wrong.
He's listed, so...
I think he's got a cap. In fact, I think...
No.
Won his first cap off the bench.
Get out.
So off the bench, so he's only won one cap.
An actual cap?
Yeah.
Off the bench in...
That's an outrage.
On the July 2021 victory against the United States.
Oh, come on. Those should not count.
They do count. They all count.
They should not count.
Did he not get to a final? Did he not win a final? We got to a final.
I don't care. When you send a B team to the USA for a Churchill Cup or whatever,
I think that's November test.
That should not be.
No, it was July.
That should not be a proper cap match
in a Lions year.
That sullies the what it means to get an England cap. Yeah. Nothing against Jacob Umaga. It's just that game was filled with.
I'm sure
filled with all the apprentices, basically.
I'm sure he got Wasps to a Premiership final.
He did against.
So what?
What do you mean? So what?
That doesn't mean he did. He should definitely get an England cap then.
Well, it's a pretty strong accolade.
It's just a different metric, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, look, if you're the fly half of a team that gets to a final, you maybe give him a shot.
I'm looking back at that. I'm going to see who the team was.
I'm doing exactly the same thing.
England 43, USA 19. So all these people got caps.
Okay, so
Freddie Stewart, fine. Max Malins, Joe Thocken-Singer, Henry Slade, Ollie Lawrence, Marcus Smith, Harry Randall. That is stacked.
That is stacked.
Callum Chick, Underhill, Ewells, Josh McNally, Ellis Genge, Curtis Langdon, Joe Hayes. That's pretty good. Lewis Ludlow.
Curtis Langdon, good lad.
Is that Lewis Ludlow's one cap as well?
It will be.
And he was captain.
Yeah.
On the bench. Oh, fair play. It's Jamie Blamire, Benno Urbano, Trevor Davison, Ted Hill, Ben Curry, Lewis Ludlam, Dan Robson,
That's a dynamite team.
I take it back entirely. I completely take it back. That's a good team.
And World Rugby Player of the Year nominee.
Jacob Umaga.
No, not that year, 2019. Joe Taufete was on the bench for the USA team, same as Jacob Umaga.
So Jacob Umaga, World Player of the Year nominee by Dean Ryan logic.
Exactly.
I take it back, Jacob. I'm really sorry. Yeah. I jumped to conclusions, I assumed, and I was wrong. Very, very wrong.
But he still got smashed against Glasgow this week.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out that the Belgians have got a player called Destiny Amunu.
Beautiful.
Great name.
Stripper on Saturday. When you got to play rugby on Saturday afternoon and strip on Saturday night.
By the way, Paolo Dogwu, Malachi Fakatoa, Jacob Umaga, these guys...
Louis Liner.
Yeah, they could be...
Malachi Fakatoa, also a stripper.
Yes.
Andy Uren.
Also a stripper.
Right.
We're done.
We've got to end this.
We are done, right.
Let's not even bother doing next week's predictions.
Let the boys end.
No, let's do that next week.
Quick as you can. Go.
Oh, no, I've just closed it down.
You
get them up to...
I'll get them. Okay, Phil is really struggling. You've done so well, Phil.
Northampton Harlequins, great game. Can't wait to see it. I don't know.
We're not. You have to pick. We're doing it quickly. Saints Harlequins.
Saints at home.
Sale
Gloucester.
I'm going to say Sale Gloucester.
Sale at home.
Sale.
Beat down Boulevard.
I don't know. I like Gloucester.
Bath Bristol. What a match! I would love to go to that game.
Bath.
Come
on,
Bath are going to win.
Bath are going to win that
big time.
Newcastle Leicester.
Leicester.
Saracens Exeter.
Great game.
Saracens.
Yeah.
So we're going for home wins except for Leicester.
Yes. All home apart from Leicester.
There's no international rugby, so it's...
no men's international rugby.
No international rugby. I'm joking. No men's international rugby, so it's just Premiership and URC. Just quick scan of the URC, big games. Bulls v Ulster, that'll be tasty.
I think it's going to be a tough year for Ulster this year.
Ulster Connacht is the game, is it not?
Munster Ospreys.
Hang on, what am I looking at?
Different week,
yeah.
Your beloved Benetton have got Leinster at home.
Great.
Good. Excellent. Right. Let the boys end. Go to patreon.com/EggChasers.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Hey there, it's Farnoosh Tarabi, host of the So Money podcast. Imagine having a super smart and reliable virtual friend to help you guide your finances. Well, besides me. Enter Claude by Anthropic. With the power of AI, Claude can help streamline your financial tasks. From analyzing data and charts to generating code for investment models or budget trackers, Claude's advanced reasoning helps you tackle the toughest financial challenges. Take control of your financial future with the right tools. Visit Claude.ai today and start saving time and money.
Expand the way you work and think with Claude by Anthropic. Whether brainstorming solo or working with a team, Claude is AI built for you. It's perfect for analyzing images and graphs, generating code, processing multiple languages, and solving complex problems. Plus, Claude is incredibly secure, trustworthy, and reliable, so you can focus on what matters. Curious? Visit Claude.ai and see how Claude can elevate your work.